There are hundreds of cameras sold each week online, and the market for them is rising, as people want a separate device from their phones, and with that, the prices rise. But is it still possible to find a cheap, decent camera online? The criteria for the camera? 12 or more megapixels. Preferably a point-and-shoot camera that I can fit in my pocket as easily as my phone. A metal body so it feels premium and is less likely to break. And I want it to be able to zoom. There are deers in the woods nearby, and while I'd like to take a picture of them, these are the images I've been getting from my phone. This left me with two options: a new lens for my camera that would just cost too much, and the second option, a cheap point-and-shoot, but it has to be around £30. I also want to be able to sell this camera and actually make a profit, so let the search begin. The way I've been finding cheap cameras is going on sites like Spock, Facebook Marketplace, and Gumtree, just looking. I set a few search settings like electronics, and then cameras and photography, and then I sort it to the newest listing. And it's just sort of going through all these different listings, looking at ones that you think might be alright to use, or that you might like, and eventually you will come across one. And you can also set up like saved searches on sites like Vinted, so you get notifications. After searching for a long enough time, I eventually found this listing that looked promising, so I offered 20 and surprisingly they accepted. So the camera, I've cleaned it up, I've wiped it with like antibacterial wipes, and it was quite dirty actually. There was a lot of brown stuff on it. There is a shaking, but the camera does work, and it works quite nice. It's not in the best condition, there are a few like scrapes or something on it. This is my first ever recording on it. I'm just testing it out. Okay, so with this specific camera, there were a few issues, and the main one was that the autofocus isn't the best. It is quite an old camera, and when I'm trying to take pictures of wildlife, they're moving, they're in between like trees and stuff, and the camera kept focusing on the trees even when I'm trying to focus on the animal. So I've actually owned this camera a lot longer than I intended to. When I started this video, the intention was to make a bit of profit and try out a camera and get a couple of detailed photos of animals, and I did that. They're not the best composition and everything, but they're somewhat detailed, and I've kept it a lot longer than I thought I would. At the end of the day, I really enjoyed this little £30 camera. It's from 2014, and the fact that it can take arguably better pictures than my £1,000 iPhone is really surprising to me. For the price, I really don't feel bad for keeping it. So I've actually changed the plan. I'm no longer going to be selling this. The idea was to sell and show how much profit I made in the video, but I'm actually going to be keeping it until I upgrade to another little point and shoot, because I've realised how good it is just to carry a little camera like this around in your pocket. One thing that I will say is this camera is really bad in low light. I think my phone can do better than it. I did find a vivid setting in the settings, which just basically makes everything really bright and colourful. I shot a few photos with it, and I'll be using it some more just because I like how good like barges look. This is the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I seriously do recommend you actually pick something like this up if you see that it's got a capable zoom, and just give it a try. You might be surprised at how good it is compared to your phone. If you have enjoyed this video, maybe check out this video, and please consider subscribing and liking the video. Also drop a comment down below on what you thought of the video. It'll be interesting to me.